Naegleria Fowleri by Destiny Lancilla.
What is Naegleria? Naegleria is an amoeba An amoeba is a single-cell living organism, known as the brain-eating amoeba, causing a rare and deadly infection of the brain called primary amoebic meningoencephalitis, known as PAM, P-A-M. How does infection take place? Water containing the embia enters through the nose by A. Swimming, B. Diving, C. Submerging head underwater, D. Any action causing water to enter the body. 2. The amoeba travels up the nose to the brain, causing PAM. 3. The infection destroys brain tissue, causing the brain to swell. You cannot be infected by drinking the water that has the amoeba in it. You can only be infected by contaminated water entering the nose. Usually the infection is fatal, and later on you'll see there's only a couple of people who have survived this brain-eating amoeba. Where is Naegleria Fowleri found? It's found in warm fresh water and soil such as lakes, rivers, hot springs, poorly maintained pools, soil, and like any kind of body of water that's warm. I feel as though, that just kind of sits and is slow moving would probably have Naegleria Fowleri found in the water. For example, there's a sign over here that says, warning, swimming is not, hold on. Hold on. Swimming is not recommended in these waters. A thermatic amoeba, Naegleria Fowleri, has been found in the waters at whatever creek or bay this was at. This was in Louisiana, so it just goes to show this does happen close to where we live. They say a lot of it is found down south, probably because the water stays more warm down there, because the closer to the equator you are, the more warmer your state is. Most likely to occur. Amoeba grows best at 115 degrees Fahrenheit. Summer months such as July, August, and September, when the weather is warm. More likely to happen in southern states, but also can occur in northern states. Like I said, it mostly happens where, the states are naturally more warm. For example, right here, Texas is red. So you can tell that if the land is surrounded by a lot of water, they're more likely to have cases of this amoeba in their water. Infections usually happen when the weather is not hot. When the weather is hot for an extended period of time. When the temperature is hot, it causes water to get hot, resulting in lower water levels. So, when, for example, if you have a cup of water outside and it is really hot outside, if you go back and look at that cup of water, a lot of the water will be evaporated into the air. causing the rest of the water in the cup to get extra warm because there's not anywhere else for the heat to go, so it absorbs into the water is what I'm assuming. And then the smaller the amount of water, the more likely the water is going to be hot, which amoeba likes to live in hot water. So the hotter the water, the more likely you are to be infected. Rare infections. From 1962 to 2018, 4 out of 145 infected have survived. 4 people out of 145. It's not a lot of cases from 62 to now, basically, but only 4 people survived. It just goes to show that we have no idea, like, where to even start, because it's just such a quick acting thing. It happens, and before you know it, you're at the hospital, and then they have to do a bunch of tests. It's time consuming. From 2009 to 2018, 34 reports infected in the US. 30 out of 34 infected by recreational water. 3 out of 34 were infected by nasal irrigation. Religious. They did this for a religious reason, or they're cleaning their nose with some type of nasty, dirty water. 1 person was infected from tap water. It's very, very rare, but it just goes to show that it could definitely happen. Symptoms. Symptoms occur 1 to 9 days after infection. These symptoms include headache, loss of balance, seizure, nausea, hallucinations, confusion, stiff neck, lack of attention, and 2 signs that I found were fever and vomiting. The amoeba will cause death in about 1 to 12 days. So back to when I was saying it's a very time-consuming amoeba. If you have it, you have to, as soon as you realize the symptoms or the signs, directly go to the hospital before it's way too late, because you only have up to 12 days, which is very rare. Most people that were infected by this only lived up to about 9 days. So the longer you procrastinate and hold it off because you don't want to know, the worse it's going to be for you, because this leads to death if not treated. And they're not even sure which treatments are the right treatments for people. Treatment. There is no rapid test for infection with brain-eating amoeba. It can take weeks to identify the amoeba. Patients don't have this amount of time to wait for the test results. Like how I said, you only have up to about 9 days. Patients don't have this amount of time to wait for test results. I can't stress it enough how quickly this could just ruin your life, honestly. A number of drugs kill Naegleria Fowleri amoebas in the test tube. When treated with these drugs, very few patients survive, because if you don't catch it in time, the brain swells, causing pressure, leading to death. So, just watch where you're swimming, honestly, is what I gathered from this. Interesting facts that I found. A person infected with Naegleria Fowleri cannot spread the infection to another person. When the amoeba gets into humans, it uses the brain as a food source. So the amoeba that's eating the tissue, that's the food for the infection. Amoebas are attracted to the chemicals that nerve cells use to communicate with one another. So it's going to eat at the tissue that your nerves use. These are all the lovely websites that I found all the information on that I gathered for you. And that is the end. I hope you learned something new. Probably not. But there it is.